I don't know if this is going to work. Let's call it an experiment. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I've been meaning to make Matthias's Pantorouter. And yeah, the time just keeps getting away from me. I've been wanting to do this for years, and the thing that I've often found intimidating is this whole business of making the slides out of the drawer glides. It just looks really finicky, and that's, I mean, I'm sure I can do it. It's just, this has always seemed like one of the finicky parts. And so I decided that if I'm gonna play around with this, I'm gonna have some fun and do an experiment. And I found these fairly inexpensive linear glides on Banggood, and full disclaimer, they sent them to me for free to try out, but they're not that expensive. This is, actually I'll insert the price here because I don't remember. And so yeah, this is an aluminum rod, comes with a couple of bearings that slide on, and that gives you the linear glide. And so I've got the base of the Pantorouter, and I'm going to try mounting these here, and I got a couple of extra. I don't know if I'm going to use them. And then the top will sit on here like this. And yeah, that's the idea. Now I'm going to have to modify the plans a bit because this is thicker, taller. I'll end up with something taller, so I should be able to manage that just by maybe adjusting the height of the base here, or we'll see. It's an experiment. All I'm doing right now is playing with these glides, and let's see how it is getting them attached and what it looks like. I'm not going to be done the whole Pantorouter for a long time for various other life reasons. I'm going to try to follow the plans as much as possible, just adjust them where it seems they need to be adjusted. In the plans, the drawer slides are shown 6 centimeters back from the front edge, and then they're centered at 9.5 centimeters from this one edge. Now these are 3 centimeters wide, so cut that in half, 1.5. So I'm going to draw a line 8 centimeters in, and that's where I will attach this. This has got 6 screw holes. I'm only going to use like 2 to begin with because I'm sure I'm going to end up adjusting that with time. Next step. The trick is that these have to be absolutely parallel, so I ripped the piece of hardboard. I made this one 23 centimeters based on what I am thinking it needs to be. On the plans it's 26 center to center, and these are 23 wide, so it should be, anyways, should be good enough. And here we go. I have number 6 screws that I'm using here. Okay. Next step is to attach this top piece. Now here is one thing. I got this set, but I'm kind of wishing that I'd gotten longer rails, because from chatting with Matthias, you need 15 centimeters of travel, which is this much, which would mean if I don't want these to leave the rail, they all have to be back here, which is kind of unpractical. So I really should have actually probably gotten longer rails. This experiment might fail before it even gets started. But because I have an extra, what I can do is I can make sure 2 of them are at this end, and then this third one can maybe, let's see. Seems pretty steady so far. Now let's just drill some holes. Okay, next step. Each of these little travelers has 4 holes. They're tapped. I've got some metric bolts to go into them, and I need to transfer all those holes here. And of course, since I'm going off plan, I can't really use Matthias's plans for these, so what I've done is I've made a mark here where 2.5 centimeters in, because this piece is 5 centimeters narrower than the base. So 2.5 centimeters from one side, and then I made this little L-shaped jig here, so I just have something to line this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little dab of CA glue on each of these. Then I'm going to lay this in position, and hopefully that will clamp enough so that I can get at least a couple of screw holes drilled. Yeah, highly scientific. I'm just sort of positioning these things. So hold that in spot, get that in the corner, and drop it. Okay, I'm skipping ahead here in the interest of time because the glue failed. And even if the glue had worked, it wouldn't have worked because the mounting holes don't go all the way through, so I couldn't have drilled from the top. I tried a few other things, and finally what did it was the second version of a paper template, and we'll skip to that point now. Let's try this again. I've redone my pattern this time, and I've been a lot more careful to verify that the holes in the pattern match the holes in the actual piece. I don't quite understand what happened last time, so let's get this all drilled and try it out again. So along with the glides, I bought this assortment of metric screws, and I wasn't really thinking there's 15 of each. Well, with 6 of these, with 4 each, I need 24. So for a test, which is what this really is, I'm okay, but before you try to duplicate what I'm doing, you might want to buy a few extra. Okay. And that didn't sound so good. Much like the, oh, little things are coming apart here. These are the little bearings that are inside here, and yeah, a bunch of them have fallen out, and I think that is the problem with this rail being shorter than I think it should be. I think I need a rail that's much longer. Let me grab my tape measure. This is a 30 centimeter rail, and I think I would recommend that you would want to get like a 50 or a 45 centimeter rail if we were duplicating this, because yeah, these things, they go on and off. I guess if I had it absolutely perfectly lined up, it might go on and off a little smoother. They were going on and off, but yeah, little ball bearings were falling out. Okay. So it kind of works. I'm not willing to call it a fail, but I'm not willing to call it a success either at this point. It's an interesting experiment. Might be, I can't really blame the bearings because, again, I think I should have bought a longer set of rails. And if you would build something where the slides would just stay on the rail, I think this would work a lot better, because yeah, before I had it attached, this thing, it was smooth, but it's the popping on and popping off and the alignment. You know, I've watched Matthias's videos, I've seen him fuss and fuss with getting things perfectly aligned. I haven't fussed quite so much yet here, but that's as far as I'm going to take this one. It was just, this was an experiment, a prototype. Really, to do it properly, you'd have to build the complete Pantorouter. I'm not at that point yet. I got a bunch of other things going on that are sucking my limited time, and I plan to get to it. It's just not this week, or maybe not even next month. As always, thanks for stopping by. I hope you found something interesting, even though it wasn't a great success. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.